Well, traffic on our national routes, certainly in some routes, picking up steadily as people start to hit the road for that long weekend holiday. The N3, which connects Johannesburg and Durban, is normally very busy because, of course, it offers us here in Gauteng our quickest route to the sea. As we heard a little earlier from Thania Dhoogra, not quite as busy as expected at this point, but I'm sure it's going to be picking up. But I'm joined now by Thania Dhoogra of the N3 Toll Concession. Thania, thank you so much for joining us. So Thania was at Tegela and she's saying it wasn't that busy. You've obviously looked at traffic volumes throughout today, and you also obviously have a comparison with a normal weekday. Was it noticeably busier today?
Well, good evening, Sally, and good evening to all your viewers. It was definitely a bit busier than your average Thursday afternoon or Thursday throughout the day, but nowhere near as high as we expected it to be. I think that we can attribute that in part to some of the traffic that we saw traveling down the route yesterday, and the fact that we had quite a steady flow of traffic of over 1,000 vehicles an hour in almost both directions throughout most of the day. But we definitely didn't reach the peaks that we expected. I think, though, it does, urge me to put out a caution to our road users that they will possibly see that traffic on the route tomorrow. We did expect that and forecast that we will have a peak tomorrow. That would be sometime between 6 a.m. and 3 p.m. in the afternoon, but with really high volumes between 9 and 12. And we're still obviously forecasting and expecting that we will see those volumes.
All right, so tomorrow you're likely to see the busyness that we have come to expect from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow, but the crunch time is going to be between 9 a.m. and 12 noon. Talk to me about truck traffic. Is that expected to be high as well?
Well, we're not expecting it to be higher than normal, but we are expecting that there will continue to be freight traffic on the route, obviously because of distribution needing to continue throughout the country. So road users should expect that we will continue to see quite a volume of heavy traffic on the route, yes.
Have there been any serious accidents today? You say that traffic volumes were a little higher than your typical Thursday, but not massively higher.
I'm very happy to report that we did have some incidents, but they were quite minor, fortunately, and nothing that disrupted the flow of traffic at all. I mean, as Thania was showing you at Tegela Plaza, all the toll lanes are open, our traffic lanes are open for the entirety of the N3 toll route, so traffic is flowing fairly smoothly.
Talk to me about the weather, because as we have seen, very dramatic storms, particularly around the KwaZulu-Natal area. What are weather conditions like? What conditions are you expecting along the route tomorrow?
Well, for the most part, what the weather services has been forecasting is clear conditions. We did see some mist in the morning today on the southern section of the route, but clear throughout the rest of the route. We're expecting that will likely continue for most of the weekend, but they also have forecast that there is a cold front that is expected to hit South Africa towards the end of this weekend. And so that is potentially going to impact on our travelers in KwaZulu-Natal and in Gauteng, bringing with it some wet weather and possible thunder showers. We will obviously keep our road users updated on our Twitter platform and on social media as that develops, and as with any warnings that we need to issue.
We know that the advice is not to travel at night, but for motorists who are planning to travel at night, what is your advice if they're taking your route overnight?
Well, one of the key things we would say is please, please, please make sure that they are visible to their fellow road users. Keep your headlights on, adhere to the speed limits, and in fact, if necessary, slow down. Please take regular breaks, because especially at night, fatigue tends to set in a lot faster than during the day because of your increased levels of concentration. So please make sure that you take regular breaks, but stop where it's safe to do so, preferably at a fuel station somewhere along the route. Never overtake unless it's safe to do so. And as I said, please, please, please just make sure that they are visible.
You said a little earlier that between 9 a.m. and 12 noon tomorrow, you're expecting the heaviest volume of traffic. What's your advice to motorists when it's really incredibly busy? Would you say you have to increase your following distance? Because that can annoy other drivers, of course.
Well, of course, but I think, the most important thing is that you've got to plan ahead and be prepared. I mean, one of the things you have to take into consideration is, as much as the route looks clear right now, congestion is always a possibility, and incidents unfortunately do happen in, a split second. So you've got to be able to react accordingly. It does mean that you have to be more vigilant and alert to any, changing conditions that might crop up around you. But also, yes, it is important to maintain those following distances, to ensure that you are following speed limits, and to making sure that you are not being distracted by anything along the road. It's very easy, especially people on their way home or on the way for a holiday, the kids are in the car making noise, or wanting to show you something exciting and stuff. It's really important. Keep your hands on the wheel and keep your eyes on the road.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Really good news so far. No serious accidents on the N3, but of course tomorrow is going to be a busy day. That is Thania Dhoogra of the N3 Toll Concession.